Bobbie Dallas. Okay.
A woman named Bobbie Wygant, who's a personal friend of
John Hellerman's.
Are you ready, Bobbie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Bobbie?
I can, Betty. Good morning.
Good. Good morning. How are you?
I'm just great, thanks.
Whenever she's ready.
Are we rolling?
Go ahead, whenever you're ready.
All right, we're rolling. Well, Betty White, good morning. Are you in Burbank or where are you?
I'm in New York. I got in
Ah.
night before last, and I go back home this afternoon. So I'm just dropping in long enough to say hi to you.
So you went all the way to New York to do satellites.
Yeah, isn't that handy? There were a few things like the 90th birthday of Doubleday and things like that that were also in on the agenda.
I promised Dick Clark and Carrie Clark that I would tell you hello, and they said they'll see you Thursday night, so I know you're headed back to the coast.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I'd go back this afternoon because tomorrow night's a big book signing at Hunter's Bookshop.
Yes, the book now, it must be really taking off because all this publicity and all the attention and everything. But you know, Betty, as I read the book, and by the way, I enjoyed it very much, but I kept thinking, with all this woman has going for her, where did she find the time to write it, and why did she want to write it?
It isn't easy to find that time, but I've always been a closet writer, as I told you in the book. But they came to me and asked if I would be interested in writing a few short pieces on various subjects from my frame of reference. And I didn't realize it's like eating popcorn. You keep going, and it was exciting. I had a good time doing it.
Did you leave out anything now as you look back and you say, darn, I should have written so-and-so?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, every once in a while I think, gee, you see, the thing about writing this kind of a book, I didn't really know. I'd pick a subject and I didn't really know what I did honestly think about it. You know, the glib thing you say on television interviews that you shoot from the hip. And I thought, what do I really think about this? Well, ever since then, you form that habit. Now something will come up, I'll think, what do I really think about that? And I'm dying to put it down on paper.
Any regrets of things that you said that you think, gee, I shouldn't have said that?
Not yet. The book is actually the pub date is tomorrow. And we'll soon find out, won't we, when people respond to it if I shouldn't have said something.
When your friends call and say, Betty.
What did you mean?
Let's talk a little bit about Golden Girls. And again, I promised the crew that I would tell you how devoted they are to you and to Golden Girls. Now, you know, Betty, what it means to get a compliment from the crew.
Oh, that's the best news in the world, and we are having such a good time. Incidentally, before we forget, and I don't want to get away from it, are you a friend of John Hillerman's?
Yes, lifelong.
Weren't you thrilled about his Emmy the other night?
I was. I just can't wait to see him and talk with him about it.
Give him my love when you do.
Yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, but it was long overdue, wasn't it?
It was so long overdue. I really celebrated all by myself.
Let's see. Oh, Golden Girls, yes. Does it look like it's going to go on for what, 2, 3, 4 years or what?
Let's hope it goes on for about another 25. Is that all right with you? We may get a little stringy, but who's counting? We've been, our first new product this season was number 3, and that was exciting. So maybe we'll be on for a couple of years. Let's hope. Don't uncross anything.
Betty, in the book you say, and you've said this time and time again, that the 4 of you are the best of friends and that there is no competition and no rivalry and all that stuff that goes on sometimes. But I wonder what would happen if suddenly one of you started getting more dialogue and more focus put on any one of you?
Well, I think that's the wisdom of the producers and the writers. They give us all plenty to do. Every once in a while it's somebody's special storyline, but there's always a second story somewhere that the 4 of us are always so busy in every show, we don't have time to get into those kinds of problems. I think the fact that we all came full-blown to this show. We all had careers that had been going on for a long time. So we didn't have that kind of incentive. You said competition, and there's always competition. That's the delicious part about it, that somebody bats something to you, they throw you a line, and you try to come back with something better, and that's, I think, the quality of the show. But the jealousy, it doesn't exist, and that I can say in all truth.
Did you always want to play Rose, or would you have been happier playing one of the other roles?
We didn't know who Rose really was. They approached me about playing Blanche. And in his wisdom, Jay Sandrich, who directed our pilot, Terry Hughes directs the show, but Jay, who directed the Mary Tyler Moore shows, directed our pilot. And he said, now if Betty plays Blanche, the man-hungry Blanche, no matter how differently she tries to play it, the audience is going to equate it with Sue Ann Nivens on the Mary Show. Why don't we let Rue play Blanche and let Betty play Rose? Well, fine, we'll try it, but I wasn't sure who Rose was. He said, Rose is always completely innocent. She never gets a second meaning for anything. And it was such a wonderful handle. It's held me in good stead all the way through, that Rose believes everything you say to her for just the surface meaning of the word. And it's fun.
But that's not the real Betty White, is it?
I'm afraid not. Whole double meaning Dora here.
But you know, Betty, through the years I have followed your career, and it seemed at a certain point in time that you started letting more of the, I don't want to say risque, but more of that kind of thing coming through on the air. Now, what was the turning point there?
There's never been a turning point, Bobbie. It's always been there, but you just skip over if a thing has a double entendre, we just skip over it. And I think it's only, you know, fairly recently the people with, wait a minute, what did she say? And they still don't believe it. They'll think, oh, poor sweet Betty, she just doesn't know what she's saying. And it's, the thing about, I find that funny only because the people who don't get it are not hurt at all. The ones who do get the little inner meaning get a kick out of it, or they wouldn't get it. And it doesn't hurt anybody, but it keeps you paying attention. I think when everybody lays out the double meaning, puts it on the top, and then nudges everybody, you sure you got what I really meant, that's when I get turned off.
Betty, of all the things you've done in your career, your acting and your broadcasting career and a writing career and 5 Emmys and everything, what are you most proud of?
The fact that I guess that I'm still in the business after all these years. It still seems like an unending miracle that people are still holding still after I've been here for so long. And who would think at this late date that you'd back into another hit? It's just wonderful.
And for the future, what if you could just have some little dream wish for the future, what would it be?
I'd like to keep on doing Golden Girls. I'd like to have an animal show on the side, and I'd like to keep writing. Now, that's not wanting much, is it?
A husband, maybe?
No, sorry. Well, Tom Selleck just got married, so that rules that out. But no, I really don't think so. I had it so good for 18 years with Alan. I don't think I'd want to. That's a tough act to follow.
And that we can all appreciate. Christmas is coming, as it does every year. Christmas comes around, doesn't it? But this is a little game I play with people as we approach the holidays, Betty, and here's the premise. If you could have anything in the world for Christmas, now I'm talking about some tangible thing, we all want peace and love and so forth, but some one tangible thing that somebody could put in your hand or deliver to your door, what would you most like to have?
Oh, I just really don't have an answer to that because first of all, I'm so blessed. I guess it would be something small and warm and furry, and that would always be welcome.
There you go again with the love of animals, which is such a part of your whole life, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Happily so.
Yes. Well, Betty, I've loved talking with you. And,
thank you, Bobbie.
And we'll be sure to show a close-up of the book so that everybody knows exactly what it looks like. And that is an absolutely beautiful picture of you. Love the picture.
Thank you, and I most of all appreciate your help on the book because it's a labor of love, and thank you.
Okay, Betty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're rolling then, huh? We are rolling?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, go
okay.
ahead.
All right. Betty, what was the most difficult thing about writing this book? As far as the future of Betty White, might it include marriage? Betty, if you could have anything in the world for Christmas, some tangible thing that you could hold in your hand or could be delivered to your door, what would you most like to have? Of all the things you've accomplished in your career, including 5 Emmys, what are you most proud of? If you had your choice, would you have been happier playing one of the other roles besides Rose? Were you ever considered for any of the other roles in Golden Girls, or was it always Rose? How long is Golden Girls going to go on? 2, 3, 4, 5 years? What? All right, let's just do a couple of reactions then. Okay, thank you.